And wait for it. I can be heard. Can you guys be heard? Make some noise.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys can be heard, so that must mean it is time for the Geek Battle Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channel, as well as on the Geek Battle YouTube channel. Head over to www.youtube.com/@geekbattle. Smash that subscribe button, set your phasers to stun, because we're going to have all the geekiness and all of the fun on today's show. Now, we are going to kick things off with the introductions round, as we always do, because by the end of the show we will have named someone our Geek of the Week. And in order to get to that title, there will be some points to earn. Now, in the introductions round, we will hear who is on the show tonight, and they will give us a random geek fact. Starting with Marty. Say hello to the people.
Hey everybody, this is Marty. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. And my random geek fact is something you may have read recently, or you may not have. There recently was a picture of Deadpool and Wolverine from the new film, and Wolverine is wearing a pretty comic accurate costume, except for the fact that they put sleeves on it. And some people are losing their minds over this. I have read that the reason they put the sleeves on it was because Hugh Jackman has had several cases of skin cancer in the past few years, and they put sleeves on it to protect his skin. Now, if that's true, then nerds, shut the hell up, because cancer sucks.
Absolutely. That's a really interesting fact there. Marty, definitely a bonus point. Well, you kind of ruined my conversation for today's show, because it was going to be, why isn't his guns out? So I guess that's over. Show's over, guys. Well done. No, we will talk about the costume.
We have to change that. Sun's out, guns in.
Sun's out, guns in. Love it. That is the slogan. Gerald's back. Gerald, say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact.
Hello, everybody. My random geek fact today is Adam Jones, who is the guitarist for the band Tool, started off doing special effects work and stuff, and he worked on Predator 2, Terminator 2, Ghostbusters 2, as well as a handful of other movies.
He sounds like the sequel man, of the... okay, so that's cool. Yeah, that is an interesting fact. What band is he from?
The band is called Tool, T-O-O-L.
Wow. Okay.
Sell it at Home Depot.
Are you a fan of Tool, Gerald?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fair play.
I've been a fan of them since they started, well, not exactly since they started, but since about 1994.
Okay, okay. Tim, who we can currently have on audio, say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact.
Hello, the people. And Gerald, may I say that you have a very pleasant voice. Like, it feels very, comforting. So, anyways, I have a random geek fact. Danny McBride of Eastbound and Down fame originally started off in film by his first job was filming still photos for documentaries. That's my geek fact of the week.
Wow. Danny McBride, is he the one that directed the new Halloween trilogy?
Yeah, he's the one that wrote and directed it. He's also a pretty prominent and comedian who always plays a character with a big ego.
Yep.
Yeah, he didn't direct Halloween movies. It was his production partner, David Gordon Green.
But okay, was he the producer? What was the deal with him? What did he do?
He ruined the new Halloween franchise.
He wrote them.
And he also ruined Alien Covenant.
Wow, he was responsible. I need to look this guy up. So let's see what
he had something to do with that too. So
let's see.
He needs
to
stick to comedy and stop ruining.
He's excellent in comedy for sure.
Although the Righteous Gemstones is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how about that?
That's great too. That movie that he was in with Seth Rogen, I think Pineapple Express.
Yep.
Diulanos, motherfucker!
I never saw that.
The way he just the only time I remember a car reference like that, this is a 1984 Honda, how dare you, or something like that from Employee of the Month. But yeah. So anyways, Danny McBride.
Well,
I don't think he ruined it. Whatever.
there you go. He definitely the first new Halloween film was good, but the second one was pretty awful, and the third one was maybe the worst film ever made. But I digress. It was terrible. Right now, let's get on. Let's react to some stuff. There's some stuff to react to. First of all, was going to be wow, Deadpool 3, Wolverine. What do we think of the costume? Why aren't his guns out as well? I was going with that. Here's an idea, though, and I have a solution to your concerns there, Marty. His sleeves shouldn't be yellow. They should be green, and they should just green screen some guns onto him. That's what they should do.
Yeah, or there's this little thing called sunscreen.
Wait, hang on. You can't say that. You're just the one about, yeah, he should be able to put his arms away. And you're like, why don't you put on some sunscreen, Hugh?
Hey, dude, I'm the devil's advocate on this show.
Right, yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, well, has everyone seen, I'll try to bring it up on my phone, has everyone seen Hugh Jackman's return as the Wolverine?
Yes.
Yeah, but I want to see how it looks with the helmet.
Well, yeah, that's the question. Tim, what were your initial reactions?
Well, it's awesome that he's in that costume. I like that they're going to do that. I hope that it can be done creatively and also, how would I put it, with particular consideration to make it, I guess, canon, like close to canon and not kind of just like, oh, we put a costume on him and now we can do anything. I also think that he has been Wolverine since before superhero movies were cool. So maybe it's best to give him a couple of sleeves so he doesn't have to spend 6 months doing a training regimen so he looks good in front of a camera. Maybe he's just like, you know what? I don't feel like doing 6,000 push-ups this month to get vascularity and show that I'm Wolverine. Give him a costume with some sleeves.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty, from some of the rumors I'm hearing, it's pretty obvious that he is going to be. I mean, he's obviously going to be a Wolverine from a different multiverse. Because I've also heard that Jennifer Garner is going to appear as Elektra in the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a. How do I put it? That is a reach back, big time.
See, here's the thing, though. I did hear that, and I heard within, like, the same rumour that, and Chris Evans is going to be the Human Torch and stuff like this. This is the exact same stuff. Not Jennifer Garner, but all of the rest of it. Patrick Stewart, blah, blah, blah. And obviously that makes sense for X-Men. But this was the exact same rumour that they had for Multiverse of Madness. And then the only one that turned up was Patrick Stewart.
True.
But, like, I would love it if, because then that means that Ben Affleck's Daredevil can turn up. That means that, yeah, like, just do it. Batfleck. Literally, just have him in it. Do you know what they should do? Do you know what would be really clever? They should have Jennifer Garner turn up, and she's there, and she's, like, dressed as Elektra, doing Elektra stuff. And then Ben Affleck should walk in, and everyone's like, oh, wow, he's Daredevil. But he's definitely not blind. And then everyone will be like, wait, was he Bruce Wayne? Could they get away with that? They should totally do that. Totally do it. Just leave everything to imply that, oh, no, obviously it was Daredevil, because Elektra was there. But then it's like, then why wasn't he blind? Well, he's a variant, and he definitely was a billionaire, so he's Bruce Wayne.
If they're going to do something like that, a Deadpool movie is the place to do it.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool movies are just absolutely nuts, and that's why I think that's why they've been successful so far.
Yeah,
I like it. Go for it.
And I'll go on record. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I'm one of the few people that thought the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck wasn't that bad. I thought it was okay.
I didn't mind it at the time. I didn't know any better, so I didn't mind it.
The only thing that I would have changed about it, I think, is put Colin Farrell in the bullseye suit.
What is the bullseye suit?
Give him the comics bullseye costume.
I'm going to look right now.
Make it
Black and white.
Matrix.
Yeah.
Basically a black and white costume with a big bullseye on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really? Like,
I didn't appreciate Colin Farrell's like Matrix
Yeah.
jacket.
wow. I mean, yeah.
Well, in the movie, he says, "I want a bloody costume," and then never gets one. So it's like a throwaway line. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Gerald, what was your reaction to the Hugh Jackman costume?
I'm glad he's back as Wolverine because I think he's done an exceptional job with it. The costume, it's a little weird, but
Yeah. Okay. Tell me why. Tell me why. There's something about it that doesn't quite sit with me, and I'm putting it down to the sleeves, but it might not be.
It's the sleeves.
Is it just the
other
sleeves?
part is there's something like around his neck that looks a little weird.
Okay,
too,
let's
which,
check this out.
To Marty's point, might make sense with a helmet, but
I think that's for the helmet.
yeah, but it
So,
just looks a little awkward.
For
in that
clarity,
still.
this is what we should be aiming for.
Mhm.
And that's so simple. And then what we've got here, I wish I could show these side by side, but I think the shoulder pads aren't as big. You know, I think the sleeves are weird.
Maybe it's the yeah, it's the shoulders.
There's something weird going on in the crotch region. I'm not quite sure what. It's just like it's got like weird like lines.
Coloration and
Yeah,
stuff.
I wasn't staring at it too long, but you
The
know.
tiger stripes are like less tigery and more like just a design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolverines aren't tigers, so it never made sense for him to have tiger stripes anyway. I guess when John Romita designed the costume, he's like, "What the hell is a Wolverine? Oh, I'll just give him tiger stripes."
Yeah, what else has teeth in his meat?
Speaking of which, hailing from the lands of, is it lions or tigers or bears? Oh my!
Leopards.
Leopards. I knew it would sound like this. Okay, so Kapelthev, say hello to the people, but also Hugh Jackman is back.
Yes, and he is very huge.
He's very
Now-
Hugh.
And not rocking the costume pretty well, so when I first looked at it, I was like, I'm not sure about this.
Okay. We're giving our opinions on it. Like, what is it that doesn't quite work for you there, Cap?
I think it's the whole look in general. I mean, like, it kind of makes okay when you're compared with Deadpool, because, you know, he also has a weird costume. But, again, the whole Wolverine character that we're used to wouldn't be caught dead wearing that costume, so not really sure. Not really feeling the vibe.
Yeah, I've got a feeling
think
it's only going to be in it a very small amount.
Yeah, I think the gauntlets are a little long too. The blue from his wrists to his.
I do like that he has the little metal things for his claws to come out of.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I always loved that in the comics.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
But I actually prefer the brown costume. I just think it suits his personality better versus the yellow and the blue.
When I picture the brown costume, I like it because it feels like it could be a taller Wolverine. When I think of the yellow costume, I think of like a really burly, hairy, short dude.
I mean, he is meant to be 5'3".
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
probably
wish-
smoked too many cigarettes or something like, I got a problem with you, bub.
Is Wolverine still short in the comics? Like, did
I
that
think so.
stay, or did they?
He's typically shorter.
Okay.
I haven't read an X-Men comic in years, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I preferred his orange look that he had on X-Men Evolution. I'm trying to find the costume for that one. Yeah, there it is. So this is the one that was in X-Men Evolution. It's basically like the orange. The yellow one is just turned into orange and black.
Yeah, it's John Byrne kind of designed the first iteration of that. Because in the comic he shows up wearing it, and they're like, "Why the new costume?" And he says, "Why not?" And then just walks on.
But here's the thing, though. I think in the later season, because of the movies came out in the 2000s, this cartoon was in so the movies came out. They changed the costume to this.
That almost looks like what they did in the late 90s or mid to late 90s, because there's an outfit he had that was black and red for a brief while, and that's when he lost one of his hands. I don't know exactly how that happened, but
But you know, when he may have gotten taller in the comics, because at one point his adamantium was taken away from him, and all he had was bones. maybe when his adamantium came back, they linked it. He's like, could you make my legs a little longer?
Yeah.
I was afraid that you were saying he's had a growth spurt because his bones can grow.
Maybe. Who knows?
Wow.
It's comics. Anything can happen.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the rumours that we were talking about of potential people that are going to turn up in this Deadpool thing? Like the ones I've heard, obviously Chris Evans as the Human Torch, Elektra, like you say, Halle Berry as Storm, Ian McKellen as Magneto. It sounds very much like the original cast of X-Men, if any of them are turning up. But any other rumours? Any other reactions to it?
I don't know.
No.
I mean, I'm
because they're very mixed worlds, I would say. Like the with the Ian McKellen and the Wolverine X-Men were, I mean, they're still superheroes and they kind of did bullshit plots, but still, it was meant to be taken seriously. And they did have kind of like Batman Begins, that sort of dark edgy. I'm not sure how that's going to vibe well with Deadpool. I feel like the one thing that they did with the new X-Men and the new Beast, when it's like, where are all the other X-Men, and they just closed the door. I feel like that cast has more connection with Deadpool than the old guys.
Yeah, like absolutely, and I think they said that. Oh, what was the other rumours? Someone from the New Mutants, and I saw that film once, and like I don't remember it at all, to be honest. And then also Negasonic Teenage Warhead and the Deadpool version of Colossus. So, and that makes sense that they would be in it.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how quickly I've gotten tired of the whole multiverse thing.
Yeah.
I'm just really, and I hate to beat a dead horse because we talk about it all the time, but I'm just ready for that to be done and for them to just shut all the doors and go back to the one universe.
Yeah.
Because it's too much, and it's like instead of writing a good movie, it's like, who can we put in it?
Yeah. Like, Marty, I can't believe this has turned already to the point where you're just like standing at like the Doctor Strange portal and you're just like, you stay in your own universe. Right?
Yes, I am the gatekeeper of the Marvel universe.
This universe is for our people. It just suddenly goes to some whole... They literally could... Sorry?
I want a costume, damn it.
Yeah. But... yeah, I think they needed to go big on it or go home, and they went small after Spider-Man, and people just have got tired of waiting. Now, obviously, there's been like pandemics and things, and like Phase 4 and 5 have been like so messy. Like they haven't had any vision, no pun intended. Even though there is a vision out there.
My technical point is like, why are they went to like Phase 3 and Phase 4? I thought like the end game, the whole thing was Phase 1, but then suddenly they're like, no, the next one is Phase 4. So I was so very confused about that. What have you accomplished after Endgame that you're saying you're now in Phase 4 or Phase 5?
Well, it's because Phase 1 led up to the first Avengers film. Phase 2 led up to the second Avengers film, and then like Phase 3 was like up to Endgame or up to like Spider-Man Far From Home or something, because it was like, oh, it's the Avengers film, but then there's an epilogue before the next phase or something like this, and then they've just made it very confusing.
I feel like the whole up to Endgame was just Phase 1.
But that's what they call the Infinity Saga. And what's this new saga called? Is it the Multiverse Saga or something?
The Kang something.
Yeah, let's look this up.
But Kang is he's turned out to be such a nothing villain that I can't help but think they're going to rethink that, because who gives a crap after watching Quantumania?
Well, again, they kind of like... when you think, like, the first Avengers film had, like, the post-credit scene where it was like, oh, Thanos. And when I saw that, I was like, who's the purple dude? I had no idea what that meant. But then, obviously, in Guardians of the Galaxy, there was Thanos, and... then they were they were teasing all these different Infinity Stones and everything, and then it was like suddenly with Infinity War and Endgame, it was like, well, Thanos is the big bad to defeat. But with Kang, it's like, well, we know that there needs to be another big bad, but he was literally someone that Loki and Mrs. Loki just like killed, and then there's like, oh, there's statues of Kang, and then it was just like a guy that Ant-Man could have a fist fight with, and I was like, well, this guy doesn't seem a threat anymore. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to Kang as a bad guy, to be honest.
But taking it back to the first Avengers film, though, like when you get the first tease of Thanos, I'm pretty sure they had zero plans to actually, how the MCU was going to go. But at that time, you could see Thanos just looking up and smiling. And at that time, you might think this is going to be the classic Mad Titan Thanos, who's going to be in love with, because he kind of looked kind of wacky, the first Avengers tease. But
he looked like, do you remember, like, sorry, Cap, just to interrupt. Guys, do you remember that, like, old cartoon series or adverts for raisins? He looked like the Raisin Man. I'm going to find it. What were they called? Like,
the California Raisins.
California Raisin. I'm going to look that up. But, Capthave, do continue.
But in the Guardians of the Galaxy film, I think they finally casted Josh Brolin, because I think that was his voice in Guardians of the Galaxy, where they completely did a tonal change. He wasn't the guy who was, like, weirdly smiling in the first Avengers movie. He's like, if you fail me, I'm going to bathe the Star Rays in your blood. He had a certain amount of authority to him, which was a very big shift from the guy who was weirdly smiling at the end of the film.
No, it's Thanos.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's like, and the funny thing is, like, let's find one that isn't quite so dark. But, like, it's absolutely Thanos. Oh, come on. It just literally is Thanos. If Thanos and MODOK had a baby, that's what would come out. It's just a head.
The first one looked like Jose Jalapeno from Jeff Dunham's Puppet. The first image that you showed.
Oh, I don't remember that.
But I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping that Marvel can get their crap together in the future and bring out somebody that has kind of the weight of Thanos, like Doctor Doom or even Galactus. Somebody who poses a real huge threat.
I like the idea of Doctor Doom, and I think people know of it, and he's like, his name, it sounds good, right? But Doom. But I feel like they've kind of done Doctor Doom in like a couple of films, or like 3 films.
But not right.
Yeah, I know, but is he tarnished now?
Maybe, because he wears metal.
I would still keep I think the first one he still had like a intimidating. It was not done well in the first Fantastic.
Wasn't he like the guy from Nip Tuck?
You can still work with it.
It's like, yeah, that doesn't work. You get Josh Brolin, you're like, oh man, this is a Goonie. He Goonies never say die. But, but like, if you got the Nip Tuck guy, it's like, well, he doesn't convince me that he's Doctor Doom. He didn't even want to wear the helmet.
Well, that's the other thing that bothers me in these films is the superheroes, they have these really cool helmets, but they sure do find excuses to take them off all the time. They're like, screw getting shot in the head. I'm taking this off. I'm so handsome.
Yeah.
I must be seen.
That's the weird thing with medieval movies as well. Like, the important characters, like, nope. So they did a weird movie with Matt Damon. So for them, they were like, we're going for a realistic thing. But again, they wanted to show this. So they did a half helmet. Like, this face is completely short. Like, yeah, but we're still historically accurate on this side.
That's part of the reason why I like Deadpool. They keep him in the mask a good amount of time. And it's Ryan Reynolds under there. He totally reads as Ryan Reynolds from under the mask. It works. Spider-Man 2. He's got a full... They're not learning... Somebody's not learning the lessons that they need to be learning.
Guys, we were mentioning earlier that, like, yesterday and today is Amazon Prime Day, and I can be honest that I almost had a moment of weakness. That I went on to, like, the Amazon sales and stuff, and they'd got, like, this actual Spider-Man helmet for adults, like a cosplay one. And I was literally like, if the eyes move when you talk, I'm buying it. And they don't, they just light up. But if the eyes gave expressions, because like when you look at it, it's like, oh my god, there's all these lines around the eyes. This is definitely just gonna move as you like raise your voice. It'll like be amazing. And it's like, no, it's £100 and it just like lights up. I was like, no. But otherwise, you're just lucky, guys, because otherwise that's how I'd be sat doing this show. Right? What was that, Cap?
No, I was saying, just like when you buy a toy car, you imagine that the little steering wheel works in the car.
I know, and then look, literally, he doesn't do anything.
So, are you ready to move on to something else that's sort of kind of related to this?
Yes, by all means, Marty. Take us there.
With this new casting news from James Gunn about Superman Legacy, I was willing to give the new I'll give any Superman film a chance. It seems like the casting's fine. They cast sweaty Henry Cavill Jr.
Yeah.
And this is nasal. And but now he's dragging all these other characters. He's like, oh, this person's playing Hawkgirl, and this person's playing Mr. Terrific, and this person's playing Guy Gardner. And who gives a flying F about any of those other people? It's a Superman movie!
Wait. So all of these characters are going to be in the Superman film?
That's what it said, yeah.
Okay, I'm just bringing this story up.
This is going to be Batman versus Superman again.
Well, it almost sounds like more of like a Justice League type movie with that instead of those characters.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So Guy Gardner, one of the human incarnations of the Green Lantern, Dora and the Lost City of Gold and Rosaline actress has been cast as the Hawk Girl. Like, wasn't that character in Black Adam, or was that Hawkman?
Well, that was Hawkman.
There's a Hawkman and a Hawk Girl.
Yeah, there's probably a Hawk baby too.
Well, hang on, but this is still going to have connections back to the Snyderverse, so that means that this has to be like Hawk Boy's sister or something. I'm getting really confused. And who was the third character?
Well, Mr. Terrific was one.
Wow.
And I thought there was one more, but I can't think of what it is right now.
Guy Gardner?
No, I thought there were 4 casts announcements, but maybe it was only 3.
Yeah, like I'll be honest. Like, I'll give any Superman movie a watch. Absolutely. But yeah, it does sound like here was the thing. Like Shazam, it pretty much just was Shazam, but then at the end they were like, and we've got a team. Like Black Adam was like, and here's our team, and it's like, and like Batman versus Superman, it's like, but we're going to show another 4 Justice League. It's like, how about just a Superman movie? Cap.
I was going to ask, like, for Green Lantern, why are they always excluding Jon Stewart? Jon Stewart's like the best thing in Justice League animated. They're like, he's nowhere to be found. Like, either it's Hal Jordan, Ryan Reynolds, which was a terrible movie. And then now Guy Gardner is a person that probably nobody knows, like, because he doesn't show up in the cartoons. He only did once in the Superman animated series, and then 2 added small appearances. But like, get Jon Stewart.
I love Jon Stewart. I think he was one of my favorite characters in the animated Justice League. I think he was just very principled and stuff, and it was nice to have sort of like that.
Yeah, I'd rather see him than the other 2 any day.
Yeah, but I like him because he plays like the straight man. Like he's the guy that's principled and he won't break his principles. And then you'll have like a Deadpool-esque kind of character where it's like, really, come on, guy. And then Jon Stewart's like, no. But then you still see his character develop and how it worked around certain problems, including romance.
If they hadn't wasted Idris Elba in Suicide Squad 2, he could have been Jon Stewart. He would have been a good Jon Stewart.
Oh, damn. Oh.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, even in the Snyderverse, right?
What's just happening?
Yeah.
That would be a really good character. Like, holy cow. Talk about like a role model to follow after. Holy
And
cow.
you'll like this, Tim. There's a fan trailer that's already there. This happened when the Snyder Rush was happening. There's a fan trailer with Idris Elba's speech from Pacific Rim, given like they did the CGI thing with the Green Lantern suit. You'll love that one. But here's the thing: when Justice League came out, that's like, who cares about Cyborg? He's from the Teen Titans. Give me John Stewart or the Martian Manhunter. Why Cyborg?
I appreciated Snyder's take on Cyborg. I think it was wonderfully done. And, like, Idris Elba, like, his characters in The Wire and, like, other roles, it's diverse. You know, there's, like, a lot of different kinds of personalities and stuff. I like, Henry Cavill as Superman, I think he's a pretty good role model, but he does have, like, that sort of tarnished look about him where he's just too picky about roles and, you know, doesn't make friends. Like,
Cap is his friend.
Elba.
Cap would be his friend.
I mean, he's good at roles, but I don't think he's just as likable as Idris Elba, you know?
You're scared to have Superman be what he truly is in the comics, is like this Boy Scout character. But Marvel has shown that can work with Captain America.
Absolutely.
But DC, they don't believe it, so they had to come out with this dark, brooding Superman. And
here's the main problem: they never gave Superman the motivation for being Superman. Like in the Man of Steel, he just was forced into becoming Superman when the world was, when Zod came in. And also in Batman vs. Superman, like, the people didn't appreciate him, and it's like, okay, then why do I have to be Superman? And then Lois is in trouble, like, oh, Lois, I have to be Superman now. Like, why is Superman Superman? Because he likes helping people. He wants to be the good guy. That's his sole motivation. And that's why Lex Luthor had a very hard time accepting that, because he's just a good guy, he's just doing stuff with all these powers.
Okay, you raise a really interesting question in my mind. So, in Superman the movie, the Christopher Reeve one, right? If, like, Lois Lane wasn't going to have that accident with the helicopter, and he suddenly had to appear, and it's like, oh my god, is it a bird, is it a plane? It's a Superman. Like, how long was Clark just waiting to, like, crack out this costume? Was he just like, look, there's a crime happening over here, but I need something big. Like, why then? Why was that his, like, coming out party as Superman? Marty.
Read, go back and find the old, John Byrne did a series called Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And I believe it came out in the 80s. And I believe what he did was he took a lot of what was in the comics, but he also took from the film, and he filled out that whole history of Superman and why he is Superman, and when, why did he debut when he did, and all this kind of stuff, and it goes into detail, and you can, when you're reading it, you can almost in your brain kind of apply it to the film and go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there isn't a film of it yet.
I'll get you reading a comic if it kills me.
Or like the animated show, they kind of do like the Superman origin story way better in episode 1.
This is like the little angel and devil on my shoulder. Cap is like, watch the animation. Marty's like, no, you don't want that. Read the comic book. I'm like, no, I like motion pictures. Well, I guess animation is a motion picture, literally, even more so. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say there is a new Superman animation show out. I think it's called My Friend is Superman.
My Adventures with Superman.
My Friend Superman. I love that idea.
That's what I thought it was. I watched the first episode. It was decent.
It's like, do you watch Garfield and Friends? It's like, no, I watch My Friend Superman. That would be amazing. Just like someone else is the main character and they've got no powers. They're just useless. And every so often they're like, Superman! And he comes in. Oh my god.
I am going to say that. I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to say anything about whether it's good or bad. And Capelfave is going to hate what I'm about to say. but I saw someone on one of the social media sites. They were showing a picture from this series of Superman as Superman and Superman as Clark, and they had the audacity to say, "Oh, they've really captured the difference between these two characters." And I'm like, it's a standard anime face. Look at it. It's in anime, every character looks the exact same. It's an anime face. Get over it.
Yeah, I agree with the anime face, but I'm not going to 100% say every anime character. Okay, for Superman, I guess. Well, like, there are
just change the hair, and you've got a different character. That face without hair, Lex Luthor. There you go.
Okay, now look, again, I think we need to like give some opinions on this. So I just searched anime face, and I think these look wholly different from each other.
Well, there are different styles. There's the chibi style, or chibi, or however you pronounce it. There's manga. There's all these different styles, but it's basically the same thing.
No, I do agree. They do look similar. They do look similar.
But I'll say this though, David, you might like this show because you know why? Superman has underpants in this.
Yes, I'm on board with this. Like, you know, there is certain things that need to always be. Superman has to wear red underpants on top of his jeans.
And a strong chin.
And a strong chin, and he needs to have the curl. Like, this is... I really like the New Adventures of Superman, or, as they called it in the States, Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman. But, like, Dean Cain never had the curl, and I was like, I can never take this guy as Superman.
I think this was suggested by his mother. Like, his first Superman, when he gets the suit from the ship, it's just blue and, like, Man of Steel. But then his mom looks and then... Ooh, I think you need something to cover.
Like, I love Lois and Clark for the fact that they have, like, a montage that shows how he comes up with a different... So, again, like Christopher Reeve was just waiting for, like, a helicopter to fall out the sky so he could debut. There's a helicopter falling out the sky, and he's like, come on, Mom! Like, get that sewing machine out! I can't save them yet! Oh, hang on. So there was a question. Can I read you the question that you asked me here? Like, you said, David, are you going to Back to the Future, the musical? I've already seen it. It is like the greatest stage show of all time. I love that musical so much. What I can say, though, I won't give huge spoilers. I've made like a 30-minute video about the differences between the film and the musical.
If you tell me it's about time travel and spoil it, I'm going to kill you. But
like the thing that's interesting about it is, as a musical, you get like the Back to the Future theme. You get like the songs that are in it, like Huey Lewis and the News and Johnny B. Good, and then you get the original songs, and it is a very mishmash of different styles. Like the new songs aren't very good, is the truth of it. They're fun. They're not that good. They don't live up to the quality of the Back to the Future theme, or to like having Johnny B. Good and these iconic songs in it. Nothing new is iconic. But as watching it, I probably didn't smile as much in a theatre for any other show that much. Although I will quickly throw in on this. On the weekend I saw Groundhog Day, the musical. And has anyone seen that?
No.
Right, so it's like the musical part of it, like the songs and stuff, are written by Tim Minchin, who is a songwriter, like a singer, and like a stand-up comic. But he also did the adaptation of Matilda for the stage. And none of the songs were like absolutely outstanding, but all of them were like clever to listen to and all this. And again, like I'm working on a like an article and a video and stuff to say about, I've noticed 32 major differences. Well, maybe not major, but 32 differences that I can remember from like the movie, and it's very interesting how they take these time travel things and put them on stage. And there's some really clever stuff in both Back to the Future and Groundhog Day. Some really clever stuff that they like. It's like, how do they do that on stage, kind of stuff. But again, I won't give spoilers.
Yeah, when I heard about Back to the Future musical, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, but
so good.
Sounds like they did something good.
Yeah, it's so good.
it's hard nowadays to know which ones. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of them that they say they're going to turn into musicals, it just sounds ridiculous. But my wife and I and some friends, the other night, we went to see Water for Elephants as a musical, which I had never seen the movie, but I understand the movie is actually based on a book. And the show was really quite good. I enjoyed it so much. I'm usually one to kind of sit in the audience, and I've done so much theater that I've got a lot of critic in me, and this was it was a lot of fun. One of the best musicals I've seen in quite a while. Wow. Now, are all the songs memorable? No, not really. I think it's really hard to write a memorable song anymore. But it was just super fun show. I liked it.
Yeah. Is it time travel based?
No, but there's like flashbacks.
Oh, okay. Phew, I was worried for a moment.
Throw it away.
Yeah. Okay.
So when they make Terminator the musical, Jamie's gonna be like, "This is amazing.
This is the best thing ever." Oh, I'll be singing "I'll Be Back" all the way home.
You've already got the music. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. What's the lyrics to that though? That's the question.
I'll be back.
No, you won't. I'll be back. Yes, I will.
My butt is showing. Give me 1,000.
Come with me if you want to live.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
We need to make that happen.
Yeah.
To be honest, if the Terminator franchise invested in a musical, at least we would have had fun and bored to death by the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I used to say, pick something that's super ridiculous. They'll never make a musical out of that. I've seen Evil Dead, the musical. How much more ridiculous can you get than that?
Yeah, that's great.
Halloween 3, the musical?
Halloween, what, Season of the Witch? Love it.
Ooh, I'd love that.
How about The Witcher, the musical?
I think Ashley also did sort of an improv thing. He actually sent me a picture where he did Geralt of Rivia. Tim probably haven't met Ashley, but they kind of did a stage show made off The Witcher.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it used to be something you could make fun of, like, this would never be a good musical, but now they're turning everything into a musical, and it's just not a joke anymore.
Well, it's such a... Okay, so let me give it like a little bit of insight into this, because it's been the case for a few years where they're like, films have got like brand recognition and all that, so they're going to turn films into musicals. But now we're reaching the point where like people aren't even going to see films and stuff anymore. So it's becoming super difficult to think like, well, if people won't even go and see Indiana Jones the movie, why are they going to go and see the musical of the film that they didn't see? And it's becoming a difficult thing. Like, well, actually, no, I don't think I can talk about. I don't think it's smart for me to speak about. I'll speak off the air about the thing I was going to say. Actually, I won't say it. It's nothing bad, but I just suddenly realised it's not smart for me to say out loud. Right? Okay. It's not as mysterious as it sounds.
They kind of did that in the 2000s where they made every movie into a video game. Like, even I think Thor the movie has a video game. They stopped doing that now, but
well, do you know,
I like them. I'm not sure how successful they were.
Like, there used to be like video games based on most movies, but like an interesting story, which this brings to me that I read a day or so ago, was that 87% of all video games that have ever made are no longer available. And wow. Yeah, that's crazy. It's such a high number. It's like when the Wii U eShop, or they're going to shut down the PlayStation like download stores and that, it's like you can't get them anymore, and they don't make these things future available. But there used to be like every movie used to have a video game. Like, and even when you look at old like WWE video games and stuff like that, they never get re-released, and it's because of licensing. And so imagine if you're making a video game, you're like, well, if we make something based on something we don't own, then in 5 years' time, when we're strapped for cash, we can't actually re-release it to help ourselves out. So that's why game movies have like vanished all but nowadays.
I know, it's a shame too, because I used to enjoy the crap out of the Bridges of Madison County game.
Yeah, I know.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
But all joking aside, I used to have a CD-ROM game on my computer. It was, I forget what it was called, but it was a Monty Python game.
Sure.
And oh my God, I love that game. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a CD-ROM, you can't use it anymore.
Yeah, quite probably. Like, you can get, like, I've got a CD-ROM drive which I plug into my laptop, and it's terrible. So there might be ways, but, like, the bigger point is you need to own that to be able to get it. Or it comes down.
I have it.
Yeah, but the point is, so if I wanted it, it's like there is no way for me to get it.
Right.
That's what's happened. And like it does, like the weird thing is it's starting to happen. Like, you'd never have thought this would happen with films and that, because people have video cassettes or they have DVDs and that. But now, like with Batgirl and like with the TV, like the Disney Plus show Willow, and then a bunch of other stuff. I think there was even like what was it we said a few months ago? Not like Looney Tunes or Flintstones or something like this. They're getting taken off of the streaming services, and now it's like, well, there's no way they didn't release Willow on DVD. You could watch it on Disney Plus. So unless someone like downloaded it illegally, there is no way for that to be seen anymore. And it's happening more and more to everything. Cap.
Speaking of things that are not meant to be seen, Tim, you might actually appreciate this. The Witcher Season 3. I can see why Henry Cavill quit.
Oh,
is
it out? Is it out? Give us your reaction.
It's out, and I wasn't going to actually watch it until like very late, because they released in part 1 and part 2, which is, again, they're trying to milk as much as they can because they know the show's not going to last. So I was going to wait until I was peacefully watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but then I decided, let's watch them. And in the first episode, the first problem is that they have done so much damage in the world building in the previous season, and also they did another prequel thing that was also horrendous, which wrecked up the world. And now they're trying to be like throw references to the books, but it's not meaningful anymore because you totally destroyed the importance of those scenes. But here's the thing: canonically, in the story as well, during the first episode, Geralt has an opportunity to kill the bad guy, literally at him, and he just decides, oh no, I have to take Fury, break his ass like this, like potatoes, like, and then just move on. Just nab it next, problem's over, the story is done. Like, again, I can see the guy getting frustrated, like, why am I investing so many time? Like, even in the plot, I would think, I know how you react to like, okay, Henry, you're gonna fight the bad guy, you're gonna break his ass, and if just when you're about to kill him, you tear it down and you just run away. And I think probably he would have been like, why can't I just take him with that and see this situation? And then kill him. Let's kill him and just go there. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're smart writers, okay? The books are stupid. Follow us.
Yeah.
But again, they're just throwing things that canonically does not make sense. This is what I think about the Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson films as well. They were not 100% accurate to the books. But, like, the origin of the story, the way it was going, the main plot, the thread that they set up were exactly like the books. And that was enough. Because you don't need to, like, put the whole thing where Tolkien describes just a tree for 2 or 3 passages. You don't need that. But if you follow the main storyline, that would be more good for the fans, and you can just work up more ideas that you're comfortable with writing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, are they still going ahead with The Witcher Season 4? Or is that something they announced, and then if this bombs, it's not going to happen?
Like, here's the thing. No one even knows that the Season 3 is out.
I didn't know it was out. I genuinely didn't know it was out.
People don't care, and they end on a cliff. They have, I think, released the first 5 episodes. Nothing happens in those episodes. And in 5, you end with the episode 5 is just a retake of the same scene from different perspectives, and that's just stupid. It's just stupid. You can see what they were going for.
It sounds like... Do you remember the movie Vantage Point? Anyone? Vantage Point?
vaguely.
What is it?
Sounds right, but yeah.
Vantage Point is like a film like about a political assassination attempt. I'm not sure if it's successful or not, but like every 20 minutes, the film goes back to the beginning and follows a different character.
Wasn't the dude from Lost in that?
Yeah, the dude from Lost is in that.
Yeah, I kind of sort of remember it.
And who else is in it? It might be like Dennis Quaid. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's not memorable. So.
Just like episode 5, and they just end on a cliffhanger. Again, you know what they're going for if you read the books, and you know that they have not done it well. So probably you're gonna look like. So I'm gonna have to wait to see that. I think they only have like 3 episodes for part 2. So again, what's the point?
Yeah.
And now, speaking of wasted opportunities,
What have you got in your hand?
Secret Invasion.
Oh.
Secret Invasion Episode 3. No spoilers, but oh my God, is this show going nowhere fast?
Oh wow.
Oh.
I haven't. Have I seen episode 3?
I don't
First
know.
show
I don't know. Like, when was episode 3? Was that last week's episode?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it was going nowhere fast as of last week.
There are 6 episodes. They're halfway through, and they should have been at this point in the first episode, and moved beyond it by now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm disappointed.
Like some of these Disney Plus shows, they do gear up in the second half, but I grant you that it's so much wasted effort that probably a lot of people give up by the time it gets interesting. Like
But
with
now
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm starting to think about Tim and how he, in the past, he's challenged us to not be negative all the time, but to be positive. So, should we all talk about something we do like?
well, yeah, I've been trying for so long, guys. Right now, I didn't even mean that to be sarcastic. Right, guys, I've got there are 2 new things that perhaps we can be hopeful for. I've seen a couple of trailers. I don't know if you've seen them. There is the second trailer for Blue Beetle out, and there is the trailer for the new Willy Wonka film, or Wonka, or whatever it's called. Has anyone seen either of these trailers? What's the reaction?
I haven't seen the second Blue Beetle, but I was kind of sold with the first one. It looks interesting.
It looked like the first one. I would say it looked like another fun kind of Spider-Man teenage hero thing. So like, okay, I'm up for it.
I thought this
But
second.
I know I had a strong feeling towards.
I haven't seen it yet.
I thought the second trailer made me more interested in it than the first trailer did. Because the first trailer was just like, whoa, I've got powers, and I'm going to go, whoa, a lot. Whereas this one, I got a bit more of the sense of... Actually, I don't know if they showed a villain. It didn't mean anything to me. Truthfully, I don't know who this character is or who the villain is or anything. But I thought it looks all right, and it's the guy from Cobra Kai, and I like Cobra Kai. But my suspicion is this film is out, I think, next month. I think it's dead in the water. Partly because of the whole James Gunn situation. Partly because I don't think they've done anything to help people know why they should care about Blue Beetle.
Yeah, they haven't, because I haven't really seen much. And yeah, I was hoping there was a movie out. I didn't know there was going to be a movie. I thought it was just a trailer.
Well, Blue Beetle, I think it's out next month, so it's not quite out yet. But the second trailer has just dropped.
Yeah.
If the 5 of
I
us
just didn't
go
know they were
see it, my
filming.
God, it will be a hit.
If the 5 of us what?
Go see this movie in the theater. It will be a hit.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's weird. It's like, okay, so here's the question: what could they do to get people excited about a character? Because there are so many characters now. There's so many different movies and new characters. This coming from the DC side of things, I don't think either of the trailers, I might be wrong on this, like say, hey, this is connected to DC films at all. Like, they may be purposely trying to push it as standalone, but I feel like there needs to be something that makes people think you should be so excited about Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is this character and he does this, and this is why you should be excited to see all of the things he does. But I don't think they've done that. Marty?
I can't believe I'm about to say this. Oh, I believe that I am being possessed by the spirit of Capelthave. They should have done a Blue Beetle cartoon so that kids know who Blue Beetle is.
Yeah. Also, I'd be quite in favour of them renaming the character. Blue Beetle doesn't sound like a film I want to see.
Dung Beetle.
Dung Beetle. It's just like, you know, if it's not got like John and Ringo in it, I don't think I want to see a Beetle
Oh
film.
God, if Dung Beetle isn't the villain, I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's awesome.
But here's the thing, though, with Blue Beetle, again, like I said, he kind of feels like an alternate character Spider-Man. And again, he's actually a teenage kid, and he's not even that popular. And he's gonna be a big CGI suit guy, and I don't think it even looks that great, to be honest. But again, I would see it, but I'm not really sure other people are gonna go, Blue Beetle, who's that? Oh, he's just Spider-Man in like a blue costume.
Well, yeah, look, okay, so I just looked this up. Someone's got, like, it's probably fan artwork, but Blue Beetle against Spider-Man in his Iron Spider costume. And it's just, like, red versus blue.
Yeah, but that's the newer iteration of Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know the
So what I'm hearing,
but
what I'm hearing here, Marty, is there isn't a film of it yet.
That's what you always hear.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. I think feel like DC's still trying to catch up with Marvel, and I think again that's the main problem. You want to be unique now, or just do the characters that are most popular. But even then, Flash.
Well,
Blue Beetle, the first appearance, 1939.
Say what? How have I missed this guy?
Yep. Look it
But I
up.
think the other thing is too, where DC could be more successful is some of their sort of offshoot characters that are not that are popular, but they're more sort of quirky. So like the Spectre, that could be something that could be very good. But you know, and even like Swamp Thing, you know, some of those characters that they have a little bit of difference to them. The problem they have, like with Blue Beetle, is exactly what you pointed out. There's already a superhero character. It's not in the same universe or anything, but it already exists. So, again, why am I interested? Why do I care? Why do I want to see this versus maybe just catch it when it's on Netflix? Or
So-
Yeah, but they're going to make a Swamp Thing movie directed by, wait for it, James Mangold. Oh, I can't wait.
Wow. Okay, so if I've understood like what you said there, Gerald, I think what you're saying is that they need to make more Batman films.
I'm fine with Batman films, but the thing is like I cannot stand the constant reboots.
Yeah.
Like I think that like Nicholson I thought did excellent, but obviously Heath Ledger did fantastic as Joker. But okay, we've established Joker is one of the main ones, and it's like every time they have the same sort of characters that they reiterate, and there's so many more characters that are out there that they could go ahead and engage with. But and even like the Spider-Man ones, those are sort of the same type of thing where it's like, okay, let's rehash the beginning again because we have a new lead actor or whatnot, and it's like, and even the Supermans, it's like, okay, I have not seen many of the new Supermans, but I go back to the old Christopher Reeve ones and whatnot, and it's like, okay, and then like you have Doomsday, and I don't even know if Doomsday is in the current movies, but that is a massive character and counter to Superman that I think would be fantastic.
They totally wasted Doomsday on Batman versus Superman. He was a flawed villain, and I was like, no, you have to earn that, okay? This guy killed Superman.
Yeah, and he looked terrible. He looked awful.
Yeah, he was a mutated Zod. That's the whole thing. Like Lex Luthor turned Zod's body into Doomsday.
That's just stupid.
Yeah.
And Zod wasn't even created in the comics. Zod was created for Superman 2.
Yes.
So
Yes. For
and
the films.
I don't want to see Lex Luthor in any more movies. We've seen him enough.
But never done well.
I have spoken.
Wow. Okay. So did it I think we kind of skipped over this. Did anyone see the Willy Wonka trailer?
I did.
What did you think? Now, I'll be honest. I like that it had like a little bit of pure imagination at the beginning. I was like, okay, they're giving me the memories of Gene Wilder here. And then at the end, they had Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa, and that I liked. Everything in between, I don't know who this Timothy Chalamet is, but I don't think he should be in pictures.
Well, here's the thing, David. He's marketed as he's the new idealistic hero for the modern age. I'm from the modern age, and no.
He's Paul Atreides in the new Dune movie.
He was a lot better than Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. I can say that from this trailer. But Gene Wilder, he was not.
Now, I was a little torn about Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, but at least it looks like an Oompa Loompa.
Well, that's true. It did look like a classic Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We should see.
As long as
come off with all of our negativity.
Yeah, like as long as Hugh Grant doesn't play every Oompa Loompa, like in the Johnny Depp thing. It's like, you know, but also, right? So do you remember this thing? Who was it a few months ago? Peter Dinklage, right? He said, like, when they announced, Disney said that they were going to make Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And he was just like, aren't we past the stage where people from the little person community are just playing goblins and trolls? And then the next day, Disney were like, no, it's going to be Snow White and the Seven Magical Animals. And so then, like, Hornswoggle, the wrestler, who's like a dwarf wrestler, was just like, what are you doing, Dinklage? You've just robbed all of our community of any roles going forward. And then go forward a few months later, and Hugh Grant is playing the Oompa Loompa. It's like, how did that happen? It's like, he doesn't need this role.
But here's the thing with Disney Snow White, though. Because the actress is, well, technically she's not going to be white. So everyone's kind of got confused by that because, like,
yeah.
But the thing was, when they marketed the poster to, I think, the other countries specifically, they turned her white.
What, for Snow White?
Yeah, they turned her white filter.
Oh my god.
I was so confused. They did that in Witcher Season 2 with Triss, because Triss was technically, again, not from the books, but I liked the actor that they took. Again, she's going to be very, like, ivory, like, redhead. In the second season, they were like, okay, let's time to whiten you up. And they just still turned her white, and then gave her a complete red hair. I was like, ooh, something weird about this.
Yeah, oh my god. Wow. But, yeah, like, I'll be in, like, I think this Willy Wonka film might be okay. But I feel like the plot didn't really give me a reason to think... This is like an origin story of Willy Wonka, which I don't know how much people were begging for. Because obviously it shows how he meets the Oompa Loompas.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh yeah, but everything about that film, except for like the one song they put on the trailer where it was just like, welcome to Wonka Land. Everything else in that film was terrible. Like, literally everything in that film was bad.
Was he bitten by a radioactive chocolate bar?
Oh, I'd love that.
Kind of. His dad was a dentist.
Yeah, his dad was a dentist.
His dad was a dentist.
They shouldn't have let Tim Burton make that film. He made it a Tim Burton film.
Well, there's been a lot of movies that they shouldn't have let Tim Burton make.
Yeah.
He did Dumbo, and it's so weird.
I've not watched that one.
I forgot that.
I didn't mind the Johnny Depp Wonka, but it definitely was a completely... Again, it's like this multiverse thing. It's definitely not the same Wonka that I think of, because I completely go back to Gene Wilder.
Yeah, like, didn't Johnny Depp literally say that he based it on Marilyn Manson?
Probably.
I heard he based it on Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay, but between the two of these...
That makes sense, Michael Jackson.
They put the two of them together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful people! Beautiful people!
Because, like, Gene Wilder's approach to it was that, because he insisted on that scene where he has the walking stick where you first see him, and then he leaves it, and then he does a forward roll, and then he's like, from that moment on, and he literally said he wouldn't do the film unless they put in that idea he had. But he said from that point on, you wouldn't know if you could trust him or not. And it's like, that's great. So the guy, Willy Wonka, we're establishing that he's a weird guy, he's a bit quirky. But then Johnny Depp was just like, he's the king of pop, or Marilyn Manson, or whatever it was. And
But here's the thing, David. You guys can go back to the old film. I had no idea about the old film. For me, the first Willy Wonka was Johnny Depp, and I was like, okay, cool. This is my impression of that complete film.
That's true. It's definitely a generational thing.
but like,
Because if yeah.
no, go ahead.
Oh.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I remember at the time, Gene Wilder didn't give any blessing to that film. He was just like, because they'd just done the musical and then the film of the producers, and he was just like, why are they remaking all of my films? and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as the remake was called, or like the new version. Yeah, it was just horrific.
Although the kid who played Charlie, he was in multiple films in the 2000s. He was in Chocolate Factory and he did the Spiderwick, and then he was in...
Wasn't he then Norman Bates, or again am I muddling it up with some other kid?
It's Freddie Highmore.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's on a show now called The Good Doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
after being around Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, he literally became Norman Bates. And look, I take that as canon. That is the progression of that character.
Now he's playing an autistic doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is all Johnny Depp's fault.
But he did a film, I think Arthur and the Minimoys and stuff like. It's so weird. Like, I felt like that this guy was going to turn into Tom Holland, but he didn't. Which is the weird thing. Now he's like an autistic doctor, and I can't stand it.
Wow.
I can't look at it.
Yeah, there was massive hype when he his first couple major breakthrough movies, but yeah, he's definitely tailed off, or has very different roles than what they had sort of hyped him up for.
I think is when you end up like getting into like this Good Doctor thing. I've never particularly seen it, but I've seen little bits of it. I think if you end up in a TV show where you're just the lead in that, I think it's like you can only go so far. You don't kind of get out of it, and then by the time that show ends, he's kind of out of the movie business. He will just be like looking for his next TV show. So that's the.
I don't know. I don't think that's true anymore because you've had a lot of pretty big stars doing TV shows.
Like who?
Like a lot of actors came back to TV shows.
Yeah, like Jim Carrey did that show Kidding,
And then he came back as Dr. Robotnik. So yeah, he's clearly.
I don't know. You put me on the spot. I'm trying to think.
I'm not putting you on the spot. You're the one that said it. Right? But no,
Anyway.
they're like, but like the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka was like so bad that literally, if there'd been the trial happening when that film came out, I'd have been on Team Amber Heard. It was that bad.
Dude, you gotta watch the origin story. The big tragic origin story that his dad was a dentist and he couldn't eat popcorn.
Oh dear. Right, guys, it's we've got like just a few minutes left, I suppose. But is there anything anyone else has seen that they want to like react to? Is there any like? I'll check if there's any breaking news.
Well, I saw. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know it was out, but the other night we stumbled upon it and watched the first episode. And that's the newest season of Black Mirror. And the first episode is pretty good. It's kind of a brain bending concept.
Yeah.
I can't discuss it because it would spoil it.
Feel free from my perspective. If it is the show I'm thinking of, like the first episode of the first season was the one with the pig, right?
You have to skip that
I will
one.
never watch that show again because of that. The people that made that don't get my viewership.
No, you have. There's some really good. There's some really good episodes of that show.
Yeah.
That is probably the worst.
Yeah,
And they put
yeah.
it up-
It put me off forever.
It's like Seinfeld. The first episode
What? He makes a guy bang a pig in the first episode of Seinfeld?
No, but kind of.
Wow.
What's the deal with the pig?
Good deal. Yeah. I saw that episode and I was so disgusted. I've never watched any since.
No, there's some really good episodes.
But like, I do like a good anthology show. Speaking of it being Amazon Prime Day, like yesterday, we spoke about this like a week ago or whatever. In the UK on Netflix, we can't get The Twilight Zone, but they had not all of them. They had the first 3 seasons of The Twilight Zone, like less than half price. So I've like bought these 3 seasons. There's like, and each season is like 38 episodes long or something. It's insane. So I've got a lot of that to get through. But I do like anthology shows. And again, if you guys haven't seen it, the show called Inside Number 9 is awesome. But again,
I recommended this a long time ago.
yeah, the first episode sucks, but there are so many really great episodes. Inside Number 9, brilliant anthology show. Cap.
The second episode of Inside Number 9 is the one that will hook you.
Yeah, don't even. Like, I'd say literally don't even watch the first one. It's just nonsense. But yeah, go on, Cap.
So when you said Twilight, it reminded me of the last show, and I spoke to Gerald about the Twilight movie. There's a guy who reviewed the movies and the books, and he came up saying, I can't believe I'm saying this, is one of the very rare occasions, the movie is so much better than the book, because the books are just awful.
Wow.
and this is what he said. Again, he said there are some good things in the books, but again, he had very bad criticism in the books. And they took that and they added on really good things, which made the characters more likable. And I was like, I can't stand the characters in Twilight in the movie. Like, oh, how bad are they in the books? But this is what I'm saying, like, they followed the story of the books so good, and the writers and people who were put in charge of it were like very good people for adapting stuff. And this is why the reader made it, why can't they do this with this world? Why can't they do it with any other good fantasy show? But they did it so well with Twilight, and it's a bad book.
Yeah. Well, wasn't like Twilight. Oh no, I'm thinking 50 Shades of Grey started off as Twilight fan fiction, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, something like that. Not the other way around. Because I was about to say, wasn't that like fan fiction of 50 Shades of Grey? But no, it's the other way.
I just wonder, why does what interest does a, hundreds and hundreds year old vampire have with a 17-year-old girl? That's just...
Literally, there is a new story. There is a new story. There is a new story in the UK at the moment about a celebrity which would answer that, but I won't get into it. Yeah, Gerald, you were going to say?
Yeah, so because of the different laws and stuff, I don't know if you have this in the UK, but Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
I have, and it's awesome.
Love, Death, and Robots.
There's some episodes that are a little rough. It's fairly dark overall, but overall it's just incredible. It is a mostly animated anthology show.
You said animated. Now I'm checked out. No, okay, I will check it out.
But yeah, I highly recommend it.
I would recommend the show where after the Rolex and the 3 robots just come in there and try to piece together what happened. That's my favorite.
That's a good one.
And also season 2. The ending is just good.
Don't spoil it, Cap.
Okay, yeah, Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah. You can't use the words cartoon, animated, comic book, any of those words with David.
No.
You can't use them.
Well, it's like you can't use the words like, Batman movies are good around Marty. It happens,
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm basing all my expectations on the comics.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'll
what-
say this, Marty. Like, even in the Nolan films, the League of Shadows, yeah, they kind of hate it. They suck. I would say, like, they are the biggest problem in the first film and also in the third film. I think Dark Knight is the best of all, but I know that you prefer comic version of the Joker, but I think that's the most perfect film in that trilogy.
Hands down.
Yeah. Okay, like just out of interest, since like we're pointing out like my flaws. All right. Well, like I said about the Batman thing for Marty, but genuinely for anyone, is there anything where you sort of feel like you've got like this, like a thing? Like, you know, that's not a real thing for me. Like, I've got nothing against the comic books. Probably won't read them. But but at the same time, like, I've got nothing against animated films. I watch animated films often, just none of the ones that Capelthave mentions. But I'll watch Shark Tale any day of the week. No, but do you think you guys... Yeah, no, Shark Tale's terrible. No, but is there? Do you think there's like a thing, like in like the geeky thing, where it's like you've got this geeky snobbery about something, or just like this thing where it's like, I'm not going to watch that based on some weird principle?
I don't, but I know that there's... Well, I can't say that. I probably do, but like a lot of people are, if you know, comics only, and if it strays too far from the comic, then it's wrong or bad. Just like the books and stuff too. And I think, like, when you're doing TV or television or movies or whatever, I think you have to stay true to some of the key aspects, which Cap had mentioned earlier. If you go too far off, it's basically like fan fiction, and it's like, that's great for you, but you're not really talking to the people that really sort of digest it and really are invested in whatever the character or story is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings worked for the most of it, because they did that. And even the new, what's the show, The House of the Dragons, I think they're still doing pretty well. And I think it's because, like, it's not the same with Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, but the writer of that, right, J.J.R. Martin, he's very involved in the show. Like, he would get certain things in his contract that will allow him to do a lot of things. But the other writers, this is the problem with the Witcher writer, which he should have, but he didn't, because he mostly lived in this world like, no, even though the games are pretty successful and good, he would not take them into his canon. And they kind of do follow his books just after the books, but he's like, no, it's not the Witcher for me, because my Witcher is the one I wrote in the books. He's a purist that way. But I think that's idiotic, because if your character's famous enough, is transcending to other medias, you should go along with it.
Well, see, that's the really interesting thing that you bring up there, Cap, because, like, with Game of Thrones, like, the show, even though I haven't seen some of it, like, I know that the show outpaced the books, and, like, there's, like, 11 years or whatever since the last book came out, and there's, like, meant to be 2 more books that may never come out. Imagine if the guy passed away or something, the only ending would be what they did on the show. But then is it a case of anything that happens on the show that he decides, oh, well, you know, I need to incorporate this or not incorporate this into the books? Like, the Harry Potter films started coming out before the book finished, and so will we ever know if any of that influenced, like, how the rest of the books were written? The Walking Dead. With The Walking Dead, they always said that, well, it's like a different imagining. It's like a remix of the comics, and I think that probably is the best way to do it. Say, well, we'll do stuff in the comics, but we can't suddenly just say in the comics, oh, this happened because it happened to a TV character. But they can suddenly say, oh yeah, we're going to suddenly introduce this TV character into the comic later, but they'll have their own version in this other thing. Go on, Marty.
I was just going to say, if you've ever seen this dude that wrote Game of Thrones, you should know that you are not going to see those last 2 books. If he hasn't written them in 11 years, he's not going to. He looks like he's on death's door anyway. There was a recent conversation between him and Stephen King that was videotaped, and I only saw one part of it, but the guy, George R.R. Martin, was asking Stephen King, how are you so disciplined in writing your books? How do you get so many books done? And Stephen King just kind of politely told him, just sit down and fucking write.
That's about what he does. Yeah. He writes like something like 1,000 words a day.
Wow.
Stephen King.
Yeah, but this George R.R. Martin, he's all wrapped up in this TV stuff now, and he's never going to go back to the books. Yeah. He doesn't need the book money anymore.
Yeah. A Cap?
There is a much. I forgot to tell made this, like, about George R. R. Martin, like, why he won't finish the book. And they made this idea, like, he told the devil to actually write the previous book. And until he writes the last book, the devil can't have his soul. But when the season ends, the devil comes to collect, and he goes like, well, they're technically not the book, so you still can't collect.
Oh my god.
And I'm not gonna finish
That
the
is literally the plot of the second ever episode of The Twilight Zone. I watched it yesterday. Where there's like, Death comes along, and he doesn't sell his soul, but he's like, oh, there's something I haven't achieved in my life, and Death's like, well, we'll give you the chance to do it. And then the guy was like, well, I'm never gonna do it. And then, the guy Death has to end up convincing him, or tricks him, or manipulates him into having to do it and then he dies. Yeah. On that note, right, time is just about up. This has been an awesome show, guys, as always. Let's find out where we can find everyone on the social media. Okay, but we have a tie, so we need to decide who is this week's Geek of the Week. Now, I'm going to ask a question. And whoever answers, like, say, buzz in to buzz in, whoever gets this will be this week's Geek of the Week. Right. I don't even have a question. Right, so it's going to be based around Back to the Future, because that's the only thing I can bring to my mind here. Right, so, in Back to the Future, what is the name of the town where Marty lives? Marty?
Hill Valley.
Hill Valley, there you go. And Marty, therefore, you're this week's Geek of the Week. Wow, okay, so...
I'm not going to be even blush because, like, I barely remember that about
You barely remember Back to the Future. Well, then we've just found your thing cap. Right, okay, so,
Yeah, I watched all the films, and again, it wasn't that, like, meaningful to me.
yeah. Now, anyway, Capafave, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on some feeds where I sing and I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And then I made a series about when Aladdin had a YouTube channel. I mean, like, whole series, but it's only part 1 and part 2, but part 2 has been out, so go check that out. I did a lot of work with costumes, so go check it out. And you can also find me here on Extreme Improv, where I do a lot of everything, so check me out here.
Okie dokie. Gerald, where can the people find you?
Here and here only, so every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But make sure to check out these other guys, Cap, Marty, and David.
Awesome. Marty, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at What Would Jesus Blue, and I'm going to recommend a show that my wife and I have just started. It's pretty good so far. It's called Silo, and it's on Apple Plus.
Okay. My name is David Pistansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pistansky, spelled Pustansky. You can get all of the different books that I've put out, including the Improviser's Bucket List. And I've literally just finished my next book. So, details on that will be coming out maybe in the next week or so. We'll see. But
How to read a comic book.
How to read? You know, I've genuinely written more books than I've ever read. So, with this, until next time, stay safe, always stay extreme, live long and prosper, and ciao for now.